We've had a very successful cabinet meeting this morning. We were talking about our anti-corruption summit. We've got the Nigerians. We've got some leaders of some fantastically corrupt countries coming to Britain. Nigeria and Afghanistan, possibly the two most corrupt countries.
But this particular president is actually not corrupt. No, he's trying very hard.
They are coming at their own expense.
I mean, yes. It's going to be slightly because it's an anti-corruption summit. Everything has to be open, so there are no sort of closed-door sessions. It's all in front of the press. It could be quite interesting.
Well, that comment's clearly generating a lot of comments here in the country, even in the UK. We're joined this morning by Mr. Robert Clarke, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you for coming on this morning, sir.
It's always my pleasure.
We're looking at this and coming at the time when the president invited over to come for that anti-corruption conference in London. But about the response and the impression people have of this comment, what do you think of this particular comment?
Well, one has to look at it from two angles. The sweeping statement, by Cameron is what I can describe as a very damaging statement and not taking into reality the present situation in Nigeria. Nigeria might have been corrupt to an extent that is systemic and whatever you call it. But kudos has to be given to this present government that as of today, when Cameron was making that statement, he is aware that Nigeria is under a new leadership. Internationally, Buhari has been accepted as a man who wants to fight corruption. He should have at least, have made that concession. Even though I heard that the Archbishop of Canterbury, came in to say, look, Buhari is a clean man and is fighting corruption. Now, there is no country in the world where there is no corruption. The problem in Nigeria, we have to be fair to ourselves. There is no need hiding it. Nigeria is a highly corrupt country. There is no doubt about that. But you cannot make a sweeping statement of the totality of the Nigerians. If you say the political class are corrupt, if you say the civil service class are corrupt, I will totally agree with you. But when you say Nigerians, in that general term, do you know that 60% of migrants in America today, Nigerians, as those who have excelled in their various fields, Nigerians occupy 60%. And these are Nigerians. So there is no doubt that there is corruption in Nigeria. We have to face it.
But do you think that because there's also think that that statement was deliberate and then it had absolutely no place, as you have said, shouldn't have made that kind of stupid statement?
Well, with its background, I don't think it was deliberate.
You think it's a gaffe?
Thank you very much. Because with its rich background in politics, with its antecedents, diplomatically, such statements should not have come out from such a figure. So it's not a deliberate statement. It's not at least he's conscious of the fact. And he has made statements in the past showing that Nigeria was, going towards a new era in the fight against corruption. So I don't think it was deliberately done. Politicians, they speak out of their coughs at times.
But if it's not deliberate, why then did he say he wasn't going to apologize, as the UK press has reported?
Why he did not apologize?
He said he wasn't going to apologize about
You
that.
see, there is a method in the madness of politicians. When they act, you think they are mad. They are not mad. They say what they say. To say, I am sorry, is a very difficult thing. Because you are assessed by what you say. And if you now turn around to say you made a mistake, you are also assessed in a different version again, that you are one that is prone to careless talks. So you can see that, and he joined us with Afghanistan. So he cannot just come now and say, I'm sorry about Nigeria. My statement about Nigeria was in error. I am aware that this present government, if he had done that, the perception of his, way of managing things will come into question. So I regard it as a gaffe, which he will regret later on. And maybe his aides will now come up to make, statements to enlighten us what he meant by that.
So much Nigeria. So many things Nigerians are saying, especially those who are students of diplomacy. Some are also saying that the anti-corruption summit holds tomorrow in the UK. That without an apology, if truly that wasn't a gaffe, perhaps Nigeria's president shouldn't be at that summit.
No, we're carrying it too far. We have much to gain by being part of this summit rather than boycotting it. And as I've told you, the personality of the Prime Minister of Great Britain is a respectable and respected position. It is not easy for him to recount what he has said and make it that I made it in error. So you don't, pay back evil for evil. If he does not apologize, which I believe he will not personally do, but will ask his aides to correct the impression created from his statement, which they normally do, Nigeria should still continue to be part of, because we will gain more by our presence there. And let us be honest, the statement that Nigerians are corrupt, who are aiding the corrupt Nigerians? There are all these foreign banks, including the banks in England. They know that the source of this money they are receiving from Nigeria are from corruption. And they still keep it in their banks. They use it as credit facilities for their own industrial setup. So that is corruption itself, and they are worse. But the difference is that in Nigeria, there's careless abandonment.
But if the president is attending, as you say he should he then reflect in his speech how he feels about that particular comment and highlight some of those other issues?
Yeah, I think he should be given an opportunity to do that. If Buhari raises it as an issue, at the summit, that will give him the opportunity to now expatiate or to say that, look, what I meant was this, what I intended to say was this. Whereas this is not a quotation. This is a real verbal statement that has been recorded. So he cannot say it was misquoted. But the opportunity will be there for him to now say, oh, look, he won't use the word I'm sorry. And you should not expect him to use that word. Diplomacy, they have different words to express different meanings. So he will find a way out. I believe he himself must have regretted that statement.
Mrs. Clarke, let's look at the reaction of the president. There are those who were arguing after that statement from the spokesman to the president that it shouldn't have been about the personality of the president. It should have been about a promise to build institutions that are not corrupt, not just about the person of the president. But what's your take on his reaction?
Well, you see, individuals in a society do not make the society. It is the strengthening of institutions that make up a democratic society. The institutions are very important. So an individual who is clean, like Buhari, will find it difficult if there is no system that will enable him to actualize his views on corruption. So I agree with you. The system must be, changed altogether. And what we have seen of recent about money laundering and all these things, it is because the system itself is corrupt. And when an innocent man gets into a system that is corrupt, that system will make him corrupt also. So we need to clean up the system so that individuals who come into the system, even if they are corrupt, will find it difficult to operate.
This statement, do you think it will be an added impetus for the United Kingdom to repatriate some of those funds that have been looted and realized in there?
You see, there is this secrecy attached to banking systems all over the world. The British government will tell you we do not interfere with the banking system. It is not within our portfolio. We know this thing is happening, but we have no control over it. Because they know what they gain from it. If you know the amount of money that we have been exposed to here, having been stolen in dollars, all these monies are in foreign banks. And they know what they are using. They are not just keeping them in their vault. They are passing it on to their manufacturers, to their little businesses, as loans to build up their own society. So for them to return the money without some force, either international force, through the United Nations, I doubt they will not return the money.
You know, thinking of what the BBC's diplomatic correspondent said yesterday, he described it as truthful gaffe. But if you look at it, going by your statement, you say it is true because yes, we have a couple of people, especially from the public sector and the political sector, some who are highly corrupt. Should this statement then spur us to do more in the fight?
Well, corruption in Nigeria is endemic and systemic. We have been trying, so our leaders tell us that we are going to curb corruption. Every successive government. Buhari has come in, and within the past 12 months, let us give him that credit. He's, putting his action where his statements are. Even though we have not seen one case till today of any conviction from all those people, but I believe in 2, 3, 4 months' time, with the system of criminal proceedings we have now, results will start showing. And I can assure you, that may instill fears. And if you see the credibility attached to the budget this year, because, believe it or not, the National Assembly for the past 16 years used the budget as a jamboree for different committees to make money. It is a known fact that if you as a minister is coming before the Committee of Finance or something, brown envelopes must have passed around to the committee, the chairman and others. But now, the first time when such incidents could not be done by the National Assembly, you discover what happened. These pardons. Whereas, before now, a minister will come, after he has done what is expected of him to the committee, they just pass the budget with all the pardons.
But they said that those pardons were not done by the National Assembly. It came from...
What about their constituency allowance? Did it come from the presidency? Is that not pardon?